morning and welcome to Trail Grazers, where we are on the road, as you can see. Here is the intrepid Jim driving as usual.
Hi, how are you?
And we are in the wide open spaces of, I guess we're in Arizona now, aren't we?
We're in Arizona.
We are in northern Arizona and we are on our way to Lake Powell. And we're taking you with us. This is going to be a fun 2.5 days for us. We're going to be down on John and Cindy's houseboat. Cindy, as you may remember, is my sister, and we have done one video with them on this channel, several with them on Rose Red. The one we did on this channel was about the food that they take when they go skiing. So we're just looking at this long road ahead. We will be in Kanab fairly soon. There are some lovely rock formations over here that I always enjoy. I will be updating you a little bit on Lake Powell. As you may know, it is in the national news right now because 7 states are now fighting over the diminishing water. But there is a little bit of good news, and I'll share all of that. Plus, there's an event going on right now that I hope we're going to catch. But right now, we're just going to keep going on this road. So we are in the small town of Fredonia, Arizona. And so we have dipped down into Arizona, and then we will be headed toward Kanab, back into Utah. So this little piece of Arizona is known as the Arizona Strip. There's the stop sign, and you can see the highway sign over there that is 89 alternate. And if you turn right, which is due south, this highway goes back up into that ridge of mountains that I pointed out a little bit earlier, right to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. If you go north, which is what we are going to do, we will head back into Utah and Kanab. And in Kanab, there is another crossroads, and then after we go through that crossroads, we will be headed directly toward the lake. We're on the lake road. We are now down in the area where you used to could see the lake, right up against that cliff over there, the grayish area. Used to be water. These great big buildings generally are boat storage buildings. Oh my gosh. So here is the dam, and you can once again see the bathtub ring, how low the water is. For the past 3 days, they have been doing an emergency release of water to the rate of 300,000 gallons per second for 3 days. And they've shut it off already. I was hoping we'd get to see it, but I think it was shut off yesterday. You can just see where it's coming out from under. You see the bright green, and then there's the darker area where there is some water coming out, but it's not the huge emergency release. They were doing that to send a huge surge of water all the way through the Grand Canyon to Lake Mead. And the purpose was to clear all of the sediment out of the riverbed as it goes through the canyon, and to restore a lot of the beaches along the way. So that I hope it worked, but boy, oh boy, you can see how low it is. 7 states are currently in legal battles over this water. This dam itself was started in 1957 and was finished after about 7 years. It took long time to fill, years actually. And I remember those years. I was in my very early teens when they started and married by the time they finished. But it has been an amazing piece of work, though there was a lot of angst when the dam was being put in because the water, they knew that it was going to cover some beautiful scenery, and it did. So I think we'll head over to the marina and touch base connect with John and Cindy. So there's where we're headed, way down there to the marina. Here's what it looks like. We can't see the water, but it is down there in that trough, in that canyon. And there is the water. Now we're beginning to see more of the water. Some boats. It's good to see boats on the water. Houseboat down there. That snow-capped mountain in the distance is Navajo Mountain. So those boats right over there, that's exactly where we are heading. Their boat is on the far right end, so it makes it very nice because we have open views on the backside of their boat. So we are now turning right, headed over toward the boat ramp. There are fewer cars in this parking lot than I have seen ever. It is pretty abandoned. Hundreds of empty parking places, but we drive down the boat ramp a little ways and then take a dirt road to a lower parking lot. So there go the men with the cart of all our belongings, and Cindy and I are going to stay behind so we can gossip. So we are here on the boat and looking over the scenery. This is our evening meal. It just looks delicious. And tomorrow we're going to have a good conversation with Cindy about the foods that she packs to bring so that we can learn a little bit more information about how they prepare to come down and have meals here on their houseboat. So we will see you tomorrow morning. It is bright and early the next morning, and we're about to see a big houseboat really moving, towing a little toy boat, and they're off for some adventure. And here comes another great big one. That would be quite fun to have a boat like that. But that is not in our future, that's for sure.
It's not today.
Good morning, Andy.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, and welcome to day 2 of our wonderful adventure down here at Lake Powell with Cindy and John. John is up getting some sun.
Yes, reading, relaxing,
And Cindy is here with me in the kitchen.
having more fun.
And yes, we're having great fun. And Jim, of course, is behind the camera. And so what we're going to do now is talk about food on a houseboat. And then afterward, Cindy's going to show us a little bit about the houseboat. We're going to talk about life on a houseboat, the way that they do it. It's pretty interesting, actually. So, Cindy, you always feed us so fabulously when we're down here. Last night's dinner was turkey tetrazzini.
It was.
And then we had a lovely salad and some veggies, and up on the top deck and watching the boats go by. It was just glorious, so relaxing, and that's just what Jim and I needed. But, you know, several years ago, Jim and I were looking at the possibility of wanting to come down and have a houseboat. And we were thinking in the distance of retirement. It was still a few years out, and we were examining all different kinds of possibilities. And one of the things that in my research I found was that, Page is 4 miles from here?
Not far.
Yeah. And they have everything.
They do.
And a lot of big grocery stores there. And you could call a grocery store. I found this out. You could call up a grocery store, give them a grocery list. And this was before COVID.
Really?
And so they would shop for you, bring it down to your houseboat, load it in your refrigerator, and then the owner would arrive with everything all in the houseboat.
Ta-da!
But you don't do that.
No, that would be a higher tax bracket than what we're in.
Let me tell you, there are people in very high tax brackets down here. I mean, we'll take a walk on tomorrow when we head back home. We'll walk along and show you some of these houseboats. I mean, some are millions of dollars.
Way up here.
Yeah, they're just incredible. So, way beyond anything that we would ever dream. And Jim and I have since decided that we are going to go a different route rather than a houseboat. Besides, you invite us down here.
You don't need one. We
That's
have
right.
a share in one.
But then the other thing I know too, the marina that's floating marina
Yes.
Store has all of these little buy it, bring it home, pop the lid, add boiling water, and you've got a meal. But you don't do that either.
No.
So what is it with you anyway?
Well, I love Lake Powell and I love food, but we try to make our Lake Powell trips to be relaxing and wonderful and time with family and people that are here with us. So the food I bring is planned in advance. We don't have to run into the town or pay the high prices at the marina store. And I have a planned menu for each day and have the food. And it was really fun packing for this trip because there are things that I'm trying to improve because of your inspiration on my bread making and so forth, that I went to my freezer, to my food storage, and we only had to buy 3 things at the store before coming here to be outfitted for food for 6 days on the houseboat.
That is so incredible.
Well, I love it. I love efficiency, and I love not paying the prices of the marina store bottled waters for $12.99 when we can bring a flat from home that we paid $2.99 for. So we enjoy food. We love food here, but the preparation of food is very simple, and I like to have everything I need to put a meal on, and we can have it served in a few minutes.
So I'm going to step out of the picture.
Okay.
And then would you kind of give us a couple of examples of things that you do?
I'd love to.
Okay.
I want to show you inside our little refrigerators. Because we have 2 of them, we can bring quite a bit with us and keep the food fresh. And I will show and tell what we have here as well. But on this little card that I have are our meals planned for the week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinners, and some possibilities of other things. But for example, cottage cheese and pineapple from our food storage. The 3 things that I had to buy at the grocery store for this trip were vegetables and vegetables, frozen vegetables and a salad mix. And for example, making ordinary vegetables extraordinary, I brought some soy sauce and some fresh ginger to grate and put with garlic salt and make the vegetables extra special. If I do one thing extra special at each meal, I think it makes ordinary food taste really good. So I pulled things from my freezer. We had bacon. We had frozen salmon. We'll have dinner tonight. I made some scalloped potatoes that I'm not going to show you because the top's a little extra brown. But we'll have scalloped potatoes and salmon for dinner tonight with veggies. From our freezer, I brought some protein bars and power balls from some of our recipe books. The last night's turkey tetrazzini, I may have made that with chicken, and that was from my freezer. I brought bread, my homemade bread from the freezer, several loaves to make toast, French toast, and sandwiches. We had from our freezer some grilled chicken breasts that will go in marinara sauce for spaghetti. I wanted to mention these salad mixes don't have a whole lot of salad in them, but I like them because it comes with dressing. So I just purchased an additional salad mix that's plain. This is coleslaw to go with this Asian salad, the cabbage in it. And the dressing will make enough then for us to have at least 4 adult servings. I pulled some freeze-dried fruit from our supply, and we love this mix for snacking. Some of my homemade granola, brought some yogurt, made Birox. When we make these little pockets, meat pockets, they make about 60 or so in one recipe. We always freeze a bunch. So I have Birox that we will have for lunch today.
Could you spell that?
Bierocks. I believe it's German. It's a bread pocket with filling. We did some of Pam's wonderful barbecued chicken filling, some barbecued pork. We have the traditional hamburger cabbage, garlic filling, and then some hot dogs that we will try. All 4 different flavors of our Birox today. And then I have from my food storage here, in case we don't have enough food, I've got a bottle of zucchini and some bouillon, and I brought some half and half in case I need to make a cream of zucchini soup, which Pam's done a video on. But as I mentioned, we love Lake Powell, and I love cooking, but I like to make it very simple at Lake Powell. And these meals mostly we can do on a griddle or a stovetop, and it's a full kitchen, not full size, but we can fix most anything we want with minor effort and cleanup, minimum effort and cleanup, and we use disposable dishes a lot too. But our meals are made with the intention of enjoyment and variety, nutrition, economy, just all the adverbs that I like and respect. And I wish you were here to ask questions. Any questions on, is this kind of covered what you wanted?
No Wedgwood china?
You raised a good point about, he said no Wedgwood china. No, because it's quite a long walk from the car to get things onto the houseboat. And so everything we need, we bring with us in long hauls. So we try to minimize the amount of things that we bring.
So for this trip, how many carts of stuff did you take down from your car?
3.
Well, that's not bad at all.
It isn't. With our luggage, all of our bedding and luggage, and plus food, coolers, and then John had to go back up for one more load. So it was just 3 carts.
Given that Jim and I had 2 carts yesterday, and we're only going to be here for 2 nights.
And I wasn't going to mention that.
I see, you're very subtle.
You had to bring camera equipment too, and computers.
That's true. We do.
We're on holiday.
Hey, John, are you going to come and say hi?
No. Not in my bathing attire.
We'll catch John in a little while. That was fun. Thank you for sharing all of that.
You're welcome.
Now, tell us a little bit about the houseboat.
Thank you. We love the houseboat. It is small, and we renovated it in the last year or 2. We are one of 6 owners, so during the high season, we get a turn every 6th week. We have a week here, and so we come equipped to stay for a week. There's a master bedroom and bath in the back, and a couple of bunks below, one in the hall, and then couches and chairs can be made into beds. And what else do you want to know?
Well, the upper deck.
Oh, upper deck is a whole other floor. It has chairs and a canopy up there for afternoon, evenings, beautiful views from the top deck. So it's a whole other area that we enjoy, not necessarily living space, but patio space.
And how old did you say this boat is?
This houseboat is about 25 years old. A good solid make of houseboat, as are many on the docks down here, and it is not top of the line like the huge luxury liners we see, and not bottom of the line. We're just happy for lower middle.
But so much fun.
It is.
You know, one of the things that blew me away, the first time after you guys got your what did you call it, a share?
A share in the houseboat.
And invited us down, and we helped you clean up and prepare to exit the boat. You're a good housekeeper. I'm a good housekeeper. I could not believe the level of housekeeping that needed to be done on this boat, almost by edict.
Yes, yes, and it's important because we want to get on the houseboat and have it be clean and welcoming, so we have to leave it that way. And so as a group, we have standards, and we know what needs to be cleaned and done. For instance, it's $12 if you leave crumbs in the toaster, and the housekeeper has to come get the crumbs out of your toaster, or water in the toilet brush holder. And now we put notes in there for the inspector so that she can see. We said it's dry, and we don't get charged for that. And so we have to leave things pristine so that we can expect that same standard
So
when we come.
you clean, and then after you leave, you have hired somebody, your group has hired someone to come and inspect.
Yes, we have a maintenance team here that makes sure our standards are level so everyone is treated the same. And she comes on board and inspects things and makes sure that it's left right for the next people, or she does the work and then charges us. And the first time we didn't know the standards, and it cost us a lot of money.
Okay, well, that just sounds great. So we will come back for one last meal before we close out this video. So we'll see you in a few hours. So here we are on the upper deck having our evening meal before Jim and I head back home tomorrow morning. And there's John. We finally got him in the picture. There's Jim with his hat, and Cindy in beautiful blue, and salmon and salad and scalloped potatoes. Beautiful water. Boy, there were a lot of boats that went by a little while ago, but right now the water is very calm. So this is a view of some of the houseboats. Just incredible. Don't they look so fun? Great big lineup, and there's aisle after aisle of these. We've loaded up our stuff. There's Jim. We've got 2 carts. We're gonna head up the hill and head for home. We are looking at a formation that is called Lone Rock, and you can clearly see the bathtub ring on Lone Rock. And then you can project that to the cliffs around to see the enormity of the loss. So we would be looking across water 5 years ago. And as we move a little bit to the right, we can see what is left of the water there. So this gives you some interesting perspective on just how drastic the change has been with the loss of all of that water. So as we leave this beautiful area, one of my favorite areas, we have stopped here on just off of the highway for you to get a better glimpse of just how low the water is. Many of those homes, the farthest ones out, used to be almost right on the water's edge. You can see the white bathtub ring across the valley and a little bit of what is left of Lake Powell. And then it goes on around the corner, and there's Navajo Mountain again. So it was a wonderful trip. It is always sad to see how low the water is, but people are very hopeful that this year the water will rise, and we're hearing everything from 5 feet to 90 feet. So somewhere in that range is where the water should rise because of the wonderful winter that we have had. But I just can't help but thinking how sad it would be to have bought a home right on the water's edge, and now here we are looking out at the dry land. We've had a wonderful trip, and we're going to continue our way home. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again on the trail.